Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first quarter fiscal year 2018 Spine Injury Solutions conference call. My name is Andrew Barwicki, and I'll be your coordinator and moderator for today's call. As a reminder, this conference call is being recorded for replay purposes. Thank you for joining us on the Spine Injury Solutions conference call and webcast to discuss the financial results for the first quarter period ended March 31st, 2018. On the call with me today are Dr. William Donovan, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, and John Bergeron, Chief Financial Officer. Dr. Donovan will provide an update on the company's highlights and key activities for the quarter. Mr. Bergeron will then review the financial results. Following the prepared remarks, we will open the call to questions. This morning, Spine Injury Solutions issued its earnings press release and filed its report on Form 10-Q with the Securities and Exchange Commission. All of our public filings can be viewed on the SEC website at sec.gov or on the Spine Injury Solutions website, which is www.spineinjurysolutions.com. During the course of this conference call, management may make projections or other forward-looking statements regarding future events or financial performance of the company within the meaning of the Safe Harbor provisions of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. These forward-looking statements are subject to numerous assumptions made by management regarding future circumstances over which the company may have little or no control that involve risk and uncertainties and other factors that may cause actual results to be materially different from any future results expressed or implied by such forward-looking statements. We refer you to the company's Form 10-K and other recent filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission for this description of these and other risk factors. And now, I'd like to turn the call over to Bill to begin the discussion.
Thank you, Andrew, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first quarter fiscal year 2018 earnings call. Today, I'm going to review our business operations, the progress we've made on our goals of expanding the quad video halo operations, new developments with the quad video halo technology, expansion of the affiliate programs to include new medical services at the affiliate level, and positioning the company for the future. I'll begin with our quad video halo operations. We ended the first quarter with 4 quad video halo systems in operation and 242 procedures conducted during Q1. I'm encouraged by these numbers, and we believe we established the QVH system, its technology, and the benefits to multiple parties, including but not limited to healthcare providers, patients, and conversely to the legal system as well. We launched the new improved QVH 3.0 last year, and we knew the first few months were going to be spent on educating the marketplace. We also spent time at conferences, meetings with person injury attorneys, healthcare providers, and insurance representatives. Throughout this process, we educated, and we were also educated. These presentations and meetings enabled me to better understand the needs and overall marketplace, all of which have resulted in the increased operations and procedures that were conducted throughout the Q1 of this year. As John will mention shortly, dealing with our financials, I would like to point out that we lowered our SG&A during Q1 as compared to Q1 of last year, while still increasing revenues. We implemented a number of cost-cutting efforts to bring the company to profitability and to position ourselves for growth while being very prudent. As I mentioned, John will elaborate on the financials for Q1 in a few minutes, but I wanted to mention our efforts for both increasing sales, reaching profitability, and lowering our costs when and where we can. We currently are affiliated with 4 spine injury diagnostic centers in the U.S., and their locations are Houston, Texas, Odessa, Texas, Tyler, Texas, and Las Cruces, New Mexico. Although we are pleased with the operations of these locations, we are mindful that we must expand and develop new products for our affiliates. During Q1, we expanded the QVH technology to now include telemedicine services we are using between Houston and Odessa. We are planning to implement the same service with the Las Cruces facility. During Q1, Quad Video Halo technology was identified by the American Health Journal on the Public Broadcasting System, PBS, as a new innovation in medicine. Additional information will be presented soon about our involvement with the American Health Journal. Working with our IP attorneys in Pittsburgh, we are expanding and adding new claims to our 2 continuation patents beyond the 2 U.S. patents that have already been issued. David and our technical people have developed new technology using the QVH platform that will be marketed to major universities, hospitals, and medical device companies. As the CEO and also really the Chief Medical Officer, I have identified and developed several new programs that have been requested by our doctors that treat these injured patients. These new programs have been tested and implemented in the Las Cruces area and are being developed now to enter into our system. Additional information will be forthcoming about these programs. Before we get to John and the financials, I would like to say the company is growing and we are looking for new personnel and realignment of existing personnel. We are addressing issues dealing with Chief Operating Officer, the need for a Senior VP of Sales and Marketing, and lastly, a succession plan for me as the CEO. We have been interviewing people, and we also have information on the internet seeking new people. I'll now turn the call over to John, who will discuss our financial results for the year.
Thank you, Bill, and good afternoon, everyone. I will now review the results for the first quarter, the period ending March 31st, 2018. Revenues for the quarter were $634,426 compared to $501,163 during the same period last year. The increase in revenues is primarily attributable to a 27% billing increase in Houston, a 30% increase in Houston, adding the 4th affiliate in Las Cruces, who added $26,000 net revenue. And finally, some of our revenue increase was attributed to higher collection percentages than the 52% that we booked. As I preach here to our staff, the revenue cycle is not complete until the collections are received. The net profit was $90,305, as compared to a net loss of $49,389 for the same period last year, which equates to a $139,000 swing. The profit is due to a higher revenue coupled with a higher margin percentage and lower SG&A costs than last year. Currently, we are concentrating on improving the quad video halo operations by improving efficiency with timesheets and measuring times to complete tasks that we charge for. We will be exploring new markets for our QVH in order to bolster our revenue. We are implementing telemedicine to reduce our travel expenses and increase our visibility to other remote areas. From a dollar perspective, we had $560,000 in collections during the quarter, as compared to $419,000 for the same period last year. The increase this year is due The increase is due to collecting on larger cases in 2018 and getting higher percentages than in the past year. Finally, with the increased collections, we were able to pay down $25,000 on our 6% debt. We still owe $200,000 to a large shareholder at 6%. There was no change from year end on the $1,325,000 line balance at Wells Fargo. Finally, without additional funds, we won't be able to grow the business the way we would like. Dr. Donovan has several ideas on how to grow the business, but it all takes additional funds to get to the next level. We are discussing our capital needs with the appropriate funding sources. With that, I'll turn it back to Bill.
Thank you, John. Before we go to Q&A, I would like to thank the entire team at Spine Injury Solutions. Their hard work resulted in sale increase and profitability in Q1 and a unified and solid plan to move forward with a focus on increasing sales by targeting new markets. I mentioned during the conference call in March that I believe fiscal 2018 will be a significant year in our history. I stated this will be a year of transition for us, which includes expansion in many aspects of our operations. Thank you for your interest and time today. Andrew, we're now ready to take any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Donovan. Thank you, Mr. Bergeron. At this time, if anybody has any questions, you could please type them in the appropriate area at GoToWebinar. And we have received a few questions that I will gladly repeat or state and give an opportunity for both Dr. Donovan and or John Bergeron to reply. The first question comes from Bernard Stewart. Congratulations on the quarter. The increase in sales and reaching profitability is great. Do you see the same or better results for the rest of the year? Dr. Donovan, that question was directed toward you.
Thank you, Bernard. It is not our practice to issue guidance, but we feel that the initiatives we implemented last year will allow us to grow the business. We did have some issues when the hurricane hit Texas last year, but we were able to continue our operations on a smaller level while still serving our customer and doctors in a positive manner. In addition, I believe some of the new programs we're starting will help increase sales and profitability.
The next question is from Dan Rosenbaum. It's directed towards Dr. Donovan as well. The question is, last year you made some aggressive statements in your press releases and conference calls about getting new affiliate programs. What can we expect this year?
Good afternoon, Dan. We were aggressive and there were some obstacles. As I just mentioned, the hurricane and overall business throughout Texas was hurt, which put a delay on our sales and marketing efforts. We are aggressively reaching out to potential affiliates with new programs And as we continue to speak with such partners, we'll be able to get a clear understanding of the marketplace more on a regional and national basis.
The next question is from a Dr. Stephen Lombardi. The question is directed to John Bergeron. Dr. Stephen Lombardi's question to John Bergeron is, how do you see your collections for the rest of the year going, and what, if any, insight do you have regarding settlements?
Thank you, Dr. Lombardi. This is always a challenge for us here at work to predict because the settlements occur so quickly and without guidance that we were caught by surprise. You never know how a test case is going to come out. You never know how long a settlement's going to occur. The positive part of this business is that the percentages, the spread from the cash we pay to the settlement numbers are very good. Spine continues to see this as a profitable business unit for us. Thanks again.
The next question is from a Jesse Wynn. This question is also directed towards John Bergeron. The question is it your goal to be profitable and not spend money to grow, or would you be willing to spend money, take a loss for a few quarters, but grow the business and then get back to profitability within a year or so? That question is for Chief Financial Officer John Bergeron.
Yeah, Jesse, this is a question that we constantly address during our internal meetings. We understand the need to grow the business, and at times have a loss serve as a very good purpose. Having said that, we're also very mindful of our balance sheet and do not want to extend ourselves or take on too much debt. There's a fine line to growing this business. We evaluate unique opportunities for growth when they're presented to us, and we consider all things, including the balance sheet and cash flow. We make decisions that we believe are in the best interest of the company on a long-term basis.
There is a second question from Jesse Wynn that's directed towards Dr. Donovan. The second question for Dr. Donovan is, do you see the quad video halo being something that can go nationally and then globally?
Jesse, when we rolled out the QV8 system, we were encouraged by the interest. As is the case with any new technology, especially in the medical field, we know there's a time frame that something has to be accepted by the medical, personal injury, and insurance and attorney sector. We've had many meetings and conversations with the appropriate people who would be using the system to their benefit. We think a regional approach would be best, with the national expansion being the next step.
Thank you. The next question is from Frank Levy. The question is directed towards Dr. Donovan. Bill, if you can summarize how you can grow the business and how long would it take to get to $25 million in revenue, and would there be a company that would acquire you?
Frank, thank you for your question. One of the things my team and I are focusing on right now is growth. Last year, we dealt with the impact of the hurricane in Texas. Looking back at that time now, and with the benefit of 2020 hindsight, I am pleased with the way we handled everything and positioned the company for the quarter we just had. We are pleased with the way we finished 2017 and especially proud of the team of the way we handled during Q1. That being said, we are far from satisfied. We are looking at what needs to be done to grow the business. We are evaluating the different things that we can do, and I believe on our next conference call, we can discuss of some of the things we're doing in Q2 that will have a positive effect on our growth moving forward. With respect to being acquired by someone now or down the road, that's always a very delicate topic because we can't predict the future, nor can we expect an offer that may or may not be made to us. I think by running the business, increasing revenues, being cash flow positive, and being profitable, we can expect shareholder value to increase. And if that brings someone to consider buying us, we have a fiduciary responsibility to consider all offers.
The next question is from Lucy Liang. The question is directed to John Bergeron. Question reads, when do you think the stock price will increase?
Thank you, Lucy, for your question. Good question, but we can't make any predictions on the stock price. However, I can say to you that the company is being run in a manner for long-term growth. As in the case with all publicly traded companies and the stock price, we as insiders can't comment or make predictions on the stock price. So next question, please.
The next question is directed towards Dr. Donovan. Dr. Donovan, you mentioned in your opening statement that you're looking for a possible CEO succession. Have you submitted a resignation, or do you plan on resigning anytime soon?
I have not submitted any resignation. Hopefully I don't plan to retire or quit. My health is good. I love what I'm doing. I'm focused on what I'm doing. And when you see the new products that we're developing, you're going to love it. But I think it's reasonable because of my age. I can be the chief medical officer. An example, when we have neck injuries, we're seeing more and more people with closed head injury or concussions. We are developing a program with VNG testing that can help the patient, help the doctor, and help any legal people involved. Is there a real injury to this patient? And what kind of rehab, if any, should be done? Another thing that we've seen is we have patients that need surgery, and they're scared of surgery. I don't blame them being scared. When you put in plates and screws, when there's a complication, it's horrible. And I've been doing spine surgery for 40 years. So I think we need to come up with programs that are based in good science where we can provide treatment, our doctors can provide treatment that is safe, less invasive, lower risk of complications, and help the patient get better. This is a job of a CMO, a chief medical officer, and I see myself more and more involved in developing programs. And I think it's reasonable with my age and whatever that we need to be looking at a succession plan. But I have no plans to go anywhere. Just let me develop programs. I have a lot of programs, and these are programs that are good for the patient. The doctors treating the patients need these kinds of programs. So, God willing, I'm not going anywhere. But I think we need to look at all the senior management positions and say, who can do the job best? Does the COO have to live in the Houston area and not be remote? A senior VP of sales and marketing has to be in the Houston area, and so forth. So these are the things that we review. John and I review this all the time.
The next question is from Arthur Porcari. The question is directed towards Dr. Donovan. Dr. Donovan, can you explain why the amount of cash available is much more important when going after higher quality affiliates than just going after just okay affiliates, i.e., 450,000 is okay to get two mediocre affiliates, but probably only one superstar due to having to pay so much cash out before returns begin?
What we're looking for, that's a good question. We're looking for affiliates who can provide a variety of services. And with some of our new programs, I think we can get additional treatment programs that can generate the revenue that John and the financial people are looking for. So we will always look for location of the affiliate, the environment, what other services are being provided, and how soon can we implement these. So we have looked at the big super docs, and we've looked at the docs who are smaller in size. And what's interesting, our most profitable cities are under 200,000 population. So with these new programs we're developing, I think we're going to find a particular area where maybe one of those programs will be developed. Another area, maybe three of these programs will be developed. And it's going to be based on the local environment and obviously competition. But some of the new things we're developing and have already tested will help us increase the number of affiliates. But I think it's going to help us provide additional services that are really needed and that we hadn't really been paying interest in the past. But the docs have come to me and says, look, we're seeing this type of patient. What can you provide to us that's good for the patient and for the doctor?
Okay. The next question is directed towards Dr. Donovan. The question is from Clifford Adomani. My apologies if I said the last name incorrectly. The question for Dr. Donovan, is the company considering selling the quad video halo systems outside of the affiliate programs and directly to anybody that wants to buy the system?
Clifford, that's a great question. We've been approached. In my discussion, I mentioned about new programs we developed on the platform. There's going to be parts of the QVH that are going to be used for stuff we're not using now, new programs. Yes, in addition, are we interested in selling QVH to areas that we're not going to go to? Sure. But I think what I asked David was we need to add additional claims to our patents and the continuation patents, and we need to take this technology and apply it in addition to what we normally use it for, but in different manners. So yes, we'll sell the QVH to areas that we're not going to go. We'll lease the QVH. We're coming up with various programs on leases, sales, and so forth.
Okay. The next question is directed towards Dr. Donovan. The question is from Mike Andrews. Question is, do you believe an additional affiliate will be added in 2018?
Oh, I'm sure there will be. Yes.
Okay. The next question is directed towards Dr. Donovan. The question is a second question from Arthur Porcari. The question is, 2 quarters ago, Dr. D mentioned Spin was looking into the area of concussion as related to neck spine injury. Any movement in that segment?
The answer is yes. In our affiliations with docs, with our neck injuries, we're seeing quite a few concussions. And to give you an idea, there are 2 million concussions a year. This is from the national database. There's 2 million concussions a year. 14% result from auto accident. This is 2013 data. 14% from auto accidents. So that's about 280,000 concussions a year. A lot of doctors aren't sure what is the most prudent way to evaluate these patients. And we will be using the VNG technology, which it evaluates the vestibular system, the inner ear, where if you have a closed head injury, concussion, TBI, is there a change that can be documented in the brain? And we do a lot of CTs, a lot of MRs and so forth. They don't show a lot. But we believe the VNG testing will help us. And if you have a problem with a concussion patient, they're going to have dizziness, headaches, so on and so forth. They have a balance problem. So when you're doing the testing on the VNG, you're also doing balance testing. There's cognitive testing that's also done. And Dr. Eagleman, who's from Houston, he's now at Stanford, there's people who have integrated his technology into the other type of VNG testing so that we can evaluate the brain, the cognitive, the balance. And obviously, this is of interest to everyone. We're seeing more concussions. Patients are more aware of concussions because of all the NFL stuff, publicity the last couple of years. So not only do we have patients when they come into the clinic on their iPhone, they have a video of the accident, they have a video of the damage, and they're coming in saying, I think I've hit my head because I have dizziness, I have ocular changes, I have severe headaches. Concussion testing is going to be a very large part of the workup that we deal with neck injuries, especially the neck injuries. So yes, concussions are going to be diagnostic methods for concussion and some protocols for balance and vestibular treatment will be part of some of our new programs because they're needed. The patients need them, the doctors need them. A good question, by the way.
The next question is for John Bergeron, the Chief Financial Officer. The question for John is from Thomas Herring. To support the growth, would the company consider factoring the current accounts receivables, which is over $1 million?
No.
Okay. The next question is from Pamela Marone. Pamela's question is, at what stage can the company start leveraging its balance sheet? At what stage can the company start leveraging its balance sheet to either establish a line of credit with a traditional bank or bring in other financings to grow the company?
Well, I think one thing now is we have a line of credit with Wells Fargo at $1,750,000. Now, it is guaranteed by a shareholder, and he was compensated for that. The problem that we have with our receivables, they're considered contingent, and the bank regulators are not happy about a bank holding contingent receivables. Therefore, that's why we have to get a guarantor on a line of credit. If somebody else wanted to come up today and give us some guarantees, I'd be happy to take it, and we'd be able to open it up as long as we could take it out in tranches. Because a lot of times, if you get money up front, you don't have a place to put it, and the interest cost would make it a non-economic event. So, I think Dr. Donovan wanted to say something.
Let me just add one thing to that, and that's a good question. We are active in all aspects of meeting with and speaking to institutional investors, analysts, investment bankers, and broker-dealers. As a public company, we are being more aggressive in our communication with these types of people, and we'll continue to have meetings and conversations in the future because we see a huge opportunity in what we're doing and what's being developed, both from the technical part and the medical part.
Thank you to Dr. Donovan and John Bergeron. At this time, there are no further questions. I'd like to turn the call over to Dr. Donovan for his closing statement.
I would like to thank you for joining us today on today's call. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Otherwise, we look forward to speaking with you again next quarter.
Thank you, Dr. Donovan, and thank you, John Bergeron. I thank everybody for participating in today's call. This concludes our call. You may now disconnect. Thank you.